Alrighty, guys. Hoping everybody has having a good day today so far. Today is what is it? Tuesday? Wednesday, June 21st. We had Powell speak today. I ended up taking one trade on the live, and then I ended up taking two other trades. So I went 3 for 3 today. We'll talk about what trades we took, why we took them, overall bias going into the day, and then we'll also talk about what we're going to be looking for going into tomorrow as well. So first thing I want to look at is just taking a look at ES here and our bias going into the day. So in our charting session last night, I did have a little bit more of a bullish bias. I wanted to see what was going to happen in the overnight session. Now, if we were to get a move higher in the overnight session, I would be more bullish. If we would get a move lower in the overnight session, I would be more bearish. And the reason is because we have this big 1 hour fair value gap, as well as this 4 hour fair value gap that we were still holding at the time. And if we look down to that 1 hour, all of these highs, relative highs that we had here, all would become now low resistance liquidity run, right? Notice there's not really a significant high here. There's not really anything here for us to mark as buy side. Now, I do have these equal highs here set as buy side that I eventually want to see get taken out later. But if we did get a move up, I was expecting a potential bounce off this fair value gap and a break of all of these highs here, since this does look like it would become low resistance liquidity. And I still do believe that this will become low resistance liquidity whenever we get that initial bounce. So going into today, looking at this 1 hour fair value gap, my bias was basically this. If we continue to hold this bullish fair value gap, then I would have confidence that the draw on liquidity would now be these equal highs. Since we end up breaking through this, right? If we're bullish, we want to see this hold. If this bullish fair value gets invalidated, which it does right here, right? When we broke through this, this to me gives me confidence and conviction that the draw on liquidity is now that recent low, right? That recent low here. So zooming in on a smaller time frame, we open up, right? We break through this bullish fair value gap. I'm now bearish, thinking that the draw on liquidity is that low. I go to a 5-minute time frame and I look to see is there possibly a trade that I can take to short, targeting the draw on liquidity being that low. Going in on a 5-minute time frame, we have a 5-minute fair value gap right here, right? Go to the previous wick, have a gap. I look to see what happens when we come back to this, right? I want to see if we end up rejecting this or not. We come up, looking at the 1 minute now, we come up, instantly reject this 5-minute fair value gap. Notice we come up and also sweep this high. We don't break through it. We have no displacement higher. We come up, sweep this level, pull back into that 5-minute fair value gap, and then instantly reject back lower. So you could have entered short in this fair value gap. Would have been a little bit more risky. I wanted to see the reaction first so I could get a higher quality and more confident setup. And what I did was I waited to see how this bullish fair value gap was now going to be treated. Notice we have a bullish fair value gap. When we pull back into this, if we are bullish, we'd expect this to bounce and then go higher. Now, I did not expect that to happen. I wanted to see a break through this and then a retest to go short. And that's exactly what we did. Once I saw that this bullish fair value gap was being invalidated, we were disrespecting this. This, to me, gave me confidence that we had a clear draw being lower. Once we broke through this, I then looked to enter short on the retest. I entered short on the retest, targeting the draw on liquidity here, and then ended up scaling out at the lows, and then I ended up scaling a little bit more down here. That was the first trade that we ended up taking today. The next trade was this silver bullet. Now, I didn't alert this on the live because it was a very small move. I didn't really want to risk that much on it, so I took this on the side, entered in when we rejected. I didn't enter when we first entered this. I wanted to see how the candle formed. Once I saw this candle ended up pulling all the way back, I entered in short, targeting that recent low. Just a little bit of scalp there, right? Silver bullet being that 10 a.m. If we look at the time, we can see 10 a.m. opens right here, right? Silver bullet is going to be that first fair value gap, targeting whatever the opposing liquidity pool is. At this time, it's going to be that recent low. We pull into this fair value gap, show that rejection. We know that fair value gap is always going to provide 5 handles, right? Perfectly, 5 handles. Nice little scalp there. Now, I ended up ending the session, calling it a day there. And then I ended up seeing another trade later in the afternoon that I ended up taking, and I'll show you guys what that was here. And it was actually my scalp model. So again, you guys know my scalp model is very confident model. I have pretty much like a 95% win rate with this model. Anytime I see it, I will always take it with confidence. Now, if you guys want to learn more about, I won't go over exactly, everything about the Scout model in this charting session. I have a video already. So if you guys want to learn more about the scalping model, go watch the video on my YouTube already. But we'll talk about this. So the things that we need for a Scout model, right? Certain directional bias, clear draw and liquidity, move back to discount, look to take and then once we get the rejection of the SMT, look to take whatever that first fair value gap is, targeting any sort of PD array. So looking at ES and NQ at the time, we can still see we have that previous 5-minute fair value gap, right? 5-minute fair value gap still back here, the one that we took earlier. We come up, sweep that 1-minute high, instantly reject that level. But we want to take into account, right? What high is this that we're looking at? Well, looking at ES, we put in new lows here. We end up boosting up, putting in a high, right? Taking out that high, and then instantly rejecting back lower inside of this range. Notice where that high is on Q. This candle that was made at 1016 is a high that put on ES. When we come up and sweep that high on ES, we are nowhere near taking out that high on NQ, right? So this now becomes a bearish SMT divergence. ES sweeps the high, NQ is still forming a lower high. Now, once we get a displacement lower, right? I want to take the weaker of the two, which is obviously NQ since we're putting in a lower high. Once we displace lower, I take whatever that first fair value gap is. Now, it would have been this, but this never got traded into. So this was the first one that got traded into, and then this now becomes my short entry. So I wait for the pullback into the fair value gap. I enter short, targeting. I put my stop somewhere up here. And my target is whatever an opposing PD array is, meaning a fair value gap, order block, whatever it is. So I look to a 5-minute chart, and I can see we have an untouched 5-minute fair value gap here, and that is my target. So going back to the 1-minute. I end up taking off 75% of my position here in this 5-minute fair value gap, and then I let the rest go to the recent low, put my stop to break even, and then my last 25% of my position ended up getting stopped at break even here. So again, very confident model. I will always take this trade when I see it. If you want to learn more about the Scout model, exactly what it is, and some more examples of this, go watch the video on the YouTube that goes more in depth on this. So today was a pretty clean day. Again, even on Powell days, we have confidence with the market. If you're new to the market and you are, still learning and still, you're new, unprofitable, I recommend not trading news days. Now, I like to come on news days with you guys and be able to, provide guidance, because I know how to navigate news days, especially on days like this. I lowered my size. I traded 25% of the normal size that I normally trade. And that's how we navigate news days, right? We don't want to over leverage, because on news days, it's going to be more unpredictable, especially even if Powell's speaking or not. We want to take into account certain outside factors that might affect how we trade. But again, coming into the day, the people that were on live this morning can attest, I will not show any sort of a negative emotion. If I have confidence in a trade, I take it. There's no hesitation, and I have confidence with the draw. And it's just that simple. There's no outside factors that are going to affect anything in my trading. All it is me perfecting my strategy, perfecting my craft. And when I see it, I execute. That's simple. So I am 5 for 5 on the week so far. We'll see what happens going into tomorrow. So let's talk about the market going into tomorrow. Let me clear the charts for a little bit. Now that we talked about all of this stuff, let's clear up the charts, right? We want to get a sort of new eyes, fresh look on everything. Zoom out back to a 1 hour. Take a look at NQ, clear up the charts. All right. So first thing I want to talk about, let's take a look at just ES here. I do want to look at the daily first. Now, this daily is going to be giving me my bias going into the rest of the week. Now, in my opinion, I want the draw on liquidity to be this daily fair value gap. I want this to act as a magnet, right? I want this fair value gap to act as a magnet. We know we go back to imbalances. Any fair value gap that we get created most likely is going to get traded back into. If we're looking at the daily, this daily fair value gap has not been traded back into yet. This is where I want to see price get pushed towards. If we're looking at the 4 hour as well, we have all of these stacked lows here, right? 1, 2, all of these stacked lows here, I want to see become low resistance liquidity, right? I don't want to see us come down, sweep this low, and then bounce. If we come down and sweep this low, I am expecting a push back into this fair value gap, right? I am not expecting to come down, sweep this level, and then bounce. Now, we could come down, sweep this level, and bounce. But eventually, I do believe, even if we come down and sweep, this might be a fake out to then go back lower, right? So I'm going to be cautious if we do end up sweeping this level tomorrow and then bouncing. I'm going to be cautious to take any sort of long. I mean, maybe a short-term long to the upside, but I eventually will expect us to trade back into this fair value gap and take out all of these lows right here. So on a bigger time frame going into tomorrow, I do have a bearish bias, and I still think we have more room to the downside, and I want to see that daily fair value gap get traded into this week. Going down to a 1 hour, we want to notice how we reacted at this internal level. Now, if this was a clear sell side level, which it is, internal sell side level, we could expect to now see buy side get taken. Okay, well, what is telling us that this might not be the case? Well, in the Discord today, I posted an image like this. We had a 1 hour fair value gap here. If we can expect the draw to be higher, we would expect this bearish fair value gap to get broken through, just like that trade that we took today. So what is this telling us? If I'm bearish or if I'm bullish and I expect these equal highs to be the draw, this is what the market would need to do. We'd have to break through this bullish fair value gap. You retest this. Once we break through this fair value gap, I would have confidence that the draw on liquidity would be these equal highs. Since we immediately rejected this, traded back up into this, immediately sold off, this is telling me the draw easily now becomes whatever that recent low was and that external low on a bigger time frame. Also keep in mind, we have another 1 hour fair value gap. So I'm expecting this to now show resistance, trade back into this, and then possibly see a new low put in. So going into tomorrow, I am bearish. I want to see what happens though. Again, a lot of my bias is going to depend on, what happens in the overnight session. If we continue to sell off in the overnight session, I want to be careful, possibly taking a short until we get some sort of maybe, sweep or better direction like we kind of did today. If we end up getting a push up, possibly look to maybe see a sweep of a 15-minute high like this, and then look to maybe take the market back down, right? If we end up opening somewhere up here, maybe look to take that entry sweep. If we end up having big displacement back down, then look to maybe take that short after we sweep that 15-minute high. That could be a possibility as well. So chart's looking good on ES. We've been getting some nice action recently, been taking advantage of it. We'll see if we get some more opportunity going into tomorrow as well. Now let's take a look at NQ. Now NQ, a little bit different. We have swept this low here already on NQ. So technically we are forming a SMT divergence. Notice this is the SMT here. ES has not yet swept this low, and Q has swept this low. So technically we are forming a bullish SMT. Now, I'm not going to take this SMT too much into account yet. The reason is because I still think the daily and the 4 hour are still bearish. I would want to see these lows get swept on ES and NQ. But one thing I do want to keep in mind is we are a little bit extended, right? We have been selling off quite a bit. Notice that it isn't sharp sell-off either. It's not like we had this sort of move. We talked about this the other day in the charting session, or last night's charting session. If we compare these two moves, right? We moved pretty much the exact same amount, right? The exact same amount up and then the exact same amount down. But look at the time period in which those moves happened. We had this entire range in one single day, right? 2 massive 4-hour candles. But look at this move to the downside. Very slow, very choppy. But we moved the exact same. This is telling me, buyers probably are a little bit more strong still than bears. So we could potentially get a big move in the coming days back towards the upside. Again, I still think all of this is going to become low resistance liquidity. I don't believe that we will have just a small move to the upside when we do. I don't believe like we'll do like this, maybe chop. I believe if we get a push to the upside, it will be a big move to the upside and wipe out all of these highs here, right? All of this now becomes low resistance liquidity. So going into tomorrow, I'm expecting a move back to the downside, but I'm not afraid to switch my bias if we end up showing strength towards the upside and looking to take out all these levels. I will not be afraid to switch my bias. As traders, we have to be able to recognize market conditions, recognize what the market's showing us in real time, and be able to adapt our bias and adapt whatever we're looking to trade in real time, right? Trading is one of the only jobs where you're getting you're constantly being fed new information, constantly being fed new context, new data. And a lot of those things you need to take into account, right? Don't be married to a bias. Don't be married to a position. You always have to be on a swivel, right? Head on a swivel. Understand that you can switch like this, like this, like this. Anytime there's something that new comes into the market, new data, new bias, new understanding, new, structure starts to form, that is when you can always reevaluate, your bias. And that is our job as traders, always to being able to reevaluate. So we have biggish or a bigger SMT, bigger time frame, right? That could show maybe strength. We could maybe get that, push to the upside, but I do eventually still want to see us come down. Looking at NQ, we've already swept this level, right? So if we do want to see a move to the upside, we need to see some sort of market structure shift. And on a bigger time frame, that market structure shift would be this 1 hour. So I am not going to be long biased. I don't care to take any sort of long unless we get a monster move through this level. Unless we get a monster move through this level, I am not looking to take any sort of long, right? So this would be considered a market structure shift. But until we come up and break this level with displacement, I still think we have lower to go. So we have sell side swept here. We could look to take longs, but in my opinion, on a bigger time frame, the draw on liquidity is still lower. This is why understanding bigger time frames are important, because a lot of the people looking at the chart is going to be like, Justin, we just swept sell side. Like, why aren't you long biased? Now, I can be long biased, but I'm not long biased until the market tells me I should be long biased, because on a bigger time frame, again, draw on liquidity is still lower. We still have a clear daily fair value gap and imbalance that we are almost down to touch into. We had a big move to the downside. You think you're not going to trade into this? Absolutely, we're going to trade into this. So that's something we want to pay attention to, right? Don't be married to a bias. Don't be married to, a position. Also notice here, 4-hour fair value gap created, traded back into this, immediately rejection to then go back towards that downside. This is the candle we traded back in. In my opinion, the draw is still that recent low. Any questions? So going into tomorrow, I am still bearish on both ES and NQ. When trading your scalp model, if it's a buy model, would you take the SMT that has a higher high or a lower high? Lower high or higher high. Sorry. Or no, it's not. If it is bullish, then it would be a higher low. If it's bullish, it'd be higher low. Remember, if we're looking at a bullish SMT, this is what a bullish SMT would look like, right? One puts in a lower or a lower low. One puts in a, or wait, high, yeah. One puts in a lower low, one puts in a higher low. I want to take the one that's putting in the higher low, right? This one's obviously stronger. VWAP indicator. I don't use any indicator. There's no VWAP on this screen. I do not use any indicators. What's up, Jet? On the first two trades, we didn't sweep 15-minute liquidity and still took a trade. Is the reason we took the trade because of the draw on liquidity? Yes, because we do not need a sweep of liquidity to take some sort of trade. If you have understanding of the draw on liquidity, and you have context and you have bias and you have some sort of, anything, our job, okay, our job, right? We have all of these things that we use to give us good understanding of where the market's going to go. Understanding draw on liquidity, using fair value gaps, using discount versus premium. Literally all of these things are the only things that you need to be successful in this market. All you need is just time using them. The more that you're able to understand how to use them the correct way and how to use little cheat codes with them, the more that you're going to understand where the market's going to go. When you stop coming into the market every single day looking for something new. We already know what we're looking for. once you know where the market's going to go, you have confidence where the market's going to go. You stop guessing and you just apply risk. You have a system. Justin, I feel like I'm a confident trader, but I always second guess myself on a trade and it ends up going in the direction I thought it would. But it's like I'm scared to take the trade and I'm using small size. Do you know what could help with that? Enter a trade, put your limit orders, walk away. If you cannot handle watching the market and you get anxious and you think you're second guessing yourself, if you see a trade, enter in low size, put your stop, put your limit order, price target, stop loss, and walk away from the chart. You want to be able to build confidence. You have to build confidence with your strategy. The reason you're skeptical is because you're not confident yet. You haven't had enough experience trading the strategy. You have to build more confidence. It just takes time. Don't be discouraged. I think they meant the Volt VWAP indicator and top left. Oh, I didn't even know I had this on. Yeah, I don't trade. I don't use this. I don't use that. Yeah, this is just volume. I just use volume. Volume is my only indicator, I guess you could say. And I really kind of don't really use volume either. Can you show how to put a stop order and take profit on Tradeovate? Yeah. I'm gonna make a Tradeovate setup video soon because a lot of new traders are starting to join the Discord, and I'm gonna make a video on how to set up Tradeovate. Let me open a paper account so I can show you, so I can enter. Simulation. Okay. All right. So using the DOM, right? Looking at the DOM here on Tradeovate. If I want to enter something, right? Decide on how many contracts I want. ES. If I want to trade NQ, go NQ, U, right? U, because the contract code, that's what we're trading right now. If I want to enter, let's say 5 contracts, whatever it is. And I want to enter, if I want to enter right now, normally what I do is I just put a limit order in. If I want to sell, if I want to short, I go sell, put it in on the right. It's going to take a little bit of time for me to get filled since it's the aftermarket session, right? If it's, New York open, then I'll probably get filled instantly, or I can just click sell market and get filled instantly, right? Because you'll sell at market price. If you put a limit order in, it might take a little bit more time. But again, that's because we're in the aftermarket section. So that's how to sell, right? If I want short, go there. If I want to exit my position and then put a limit order, I can just click here, put a limit, get filled, right? Whatever. Or I can click exit at market. But most of the time, I just put limit orders. If I want to put a limit at a certain price, like let's say I'm, in short and I want to put my stop loss. If I'm in short, right, my stop loss is going to be a buy order. So I'm going to come up, let's say my stop's right here. I'm going to right click and I put 5 limit orders here. So that would be my stop loss. Price target, same thing. Come down here. And then I left click on whatever this is. And there you go. You have a limit order here, limit order here. I got you. Does anybody have any other questions, guys? Do we all understand what we're looking at going into tomorrow? How long did it take you to become profitable trading futures? I started with small caps and scalping large caps and did well, but wanted to switch to futures because of the tax benefits. How much less trade? I actually needed to get bigger. I'll tell you this. I traded options for 2 years and I was not profitable. The first 3 months of trading futures, I made back every single loss that I've ever made with trading options in the first 2 years, and I became profitable. It took me 2.5 years to become profitable in general, though. Yeah, that's Forex, John. A little over a year and a half. Keep going, brother. Any words of motivation today? Don't compare your journey to anybody else's, guys. Every single person in this Discord is here because they want to be something. They want to do something, right? You wouldn't be here if you don't want to make a change in your life. You don't want to, you want to make money. You want to, not go the traditional route. And it's going to take time. Don't be discouraged by that. Think of trading as any other career. Any other career. If you want to be a doctor, you go to school for 8 fucking years, a doctor, and you start getting paid. Then you get the job. Then you get paid. If I want to be a businessman, I have to go to college, get my MBA. That's 5 years in college. I pay a tuition, $50,000 down the drain. Then I get the job. Then I get paid. Same thing with trading. If you want to have a job, a high-paying job, you have to put in the work. You have to gain experience. You cannot expect to come into trading and be profitable and make $1 million your first year. It's not going to happen. You have to pay your tuition. You have to put in the work. You have to do your homework. Same thing like any other career choice. Trading is the exact same thing. You pay your tuition and losses. You learn from those losses. You gain experience. Then once the work is put in, years of work, then you get that job. Then you get paid. So do not be discouraged if you're in your first couple of years of trading. You have plenty of time. The markets are not going anywhere. You have plenty of time. The more that you show up every single day, the more that you gain experience. Learn to just enjoy the journey. Learn to enjoy the journey. Every single day you wake up, come into the market, even if you lose, you know what? It's exciting. You're learning. You're gaining experience. That's an exciting thing. You can accomplish great things. Anything you put your mind to. This is how I'm tracking my trades now. Week 1 of June. I didn't know, so it started at week 2. It feels incredible to have this raw data to sharpen my skills. I would highly suggest this. I'm only trading 1 micro either. Yes, I highly suggest logging this as well. If you have a journal like this, do that. If you have, Excel sheet, whatever this is. You need to tell me this every day. Absolutely. The journey is more important than the destination. 100%. I always like to say, the way that I like to think about the mindset you need to have in the mindset that has brought me a lot of success in my life is I knew the outcome from the beginning. I went into trading knowing I was going to be successful. You have to do that with everything you do because failure is never an option, at least for me. Anything that I do, failure is not an option. And I always believe, not a single doubt in my mind, that I will not be successful in trading. So every single day I wake up, even if I fail, even if I make a mistake, I know that it's a part of my journey. I get excited. It's like, wow, I really needed this today. Maybe I needed to get slapped in the face today. This is a part of my journey. Think about every single day as your movie. Imagine there's a camera crew around you filming every single thing you do, filming your documentary, your success story, filming all of those days where you feel down, feel lost. Imagine how good it's going to feel when you get to the top. Start thinking about yourself as the main character. This is your success story. Great advice. Very inspiring, especially to a 20-year-old trying to secure a financially free future. You have plenty of time, brother. Keep working hard. This market analysis Zoom is a game changer, young man. Thank you. You're the only trader and influencer I've seen that does this stuff. How old are you, by the way? I'm 20 at ASU right now, and I know I'm going to be where you're at by the time I graduate. We have to do the exact same mindset, and I appreciate all they do. Much love, Brandon. I'm glad to have you with us, man. Guys, I am 19 fucking years old. If I can do this shit, any of you guys can. I'm nothing special. I am nothing special. I'm not like some fucking market master genius fucking, all it is I just put the work in. I made sacrifices. I distanced myself from people that put me down, and I attracted myself to people that boosted me up. I had the discipline to put myself in those environments. I had the discipline to do what I needed to do. You know what you need to do with trading. You know what you need to do. Follow your rules, follow your system, follow your, be disciplined. Don't over leverage. You know what you need to do. It's just the hard part is actually fucking doing it. That's it. Just do it. It's that simple. Learn to become disciplined. Discipline your life, every single aspect of your life. If you're going to the gym, get your work done on time. You cannot expect to be disciplined inside the markets if you are not disciplined outside of the markets. Discipline every aspect of your life and your trading will improve. All it is just putting in time. Age is nothing. Age does not mean shit. Because I'm 19 making people's salaries in a week. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. Prove them wrong. You have plenty of time, Blair. All right, guys. That's pretty much all I have for you tonight. If anybody has any extra questions, well, let me see. I'm 31, been trying to be profitable since around 27. Supply and demand wasn't it. I have been at this grind for with Justin for a couple months, and I've already seen improvements I would have only dreamed of a few years ago. Very thankful. Much love, James. Means a lot, bro. I'm glad to have you here. Again, guys, I get the most out of this teaching. That is what my passion is. Being able to help you guys sit here and provide quality that I didn't have when I first started trading, right? I had to learn all this shit by myself, and I don't want you guys to go through that. I want to be the person to you guys that I didn't have, right? There's too many people in this space, way too many fucking fake traders in this space that have no clue what they're doing, teaching bad habits that are just trying to cash grab from random people. And it's fucking sad. These people don't have fucking morals nowadays. People don't have a fuck, like they have literally no morals. Like, it's crazy. I've always been raised ever since a young age. If you do good thing, it'll always come back around to you. And I truly love what I do. And I truly want to help every single person in here. Who are your mentors? Nobody. Literally nobody. My mom, I guess. I guess you could say my mom. But I really had nobody in the space of trading, in the space of business. I figured this shit out on my own. Much love, Luca. That means a lot, brother. Were you just in a podcast? I was in a podcast with why did I just forget his name? What the fuck? Wait, why am I blanking? Rizdom, right? Yes, Rizdom. I was like, what the? Yeah. This kind of transparency and honesty is going to come back big time, man. It's a rare quality, I think, especially in trading. So good on you. Much love. I 100% agree. That's why I do what I do, because it's low-key saddening and sick to see how many people in this space, and just in general, like I just think people don't have morals nowadays. Not even in trading. I mean, especially in trading, but people just want to make money. They don't care the way, any way it is. They'll fucking step on 1,000 people. I don't think it is out yet. I don't know if he'll actually post it, to be honest. It was more of a like a spontaneous thing, to be honest. But I might fly out to Miami and film a podcast with him, like an actual, like full on, just one-on-one with him. You know what? It's kind of sad. Okay, so from me to you guys, to give you guys a little bit of insight of where I am kind of on my journey to, in the trading space, is I don't have a big enough following to get a lot of these guys' attention. Now, I want to, provide as much quality as I can to you guys, everybody. And I want to get on, big podcasts, meet with a lot of these, really big names in the space. Right. But again, I'm a 19-year-old kid, and I truly believe I run laps around these other traders. To be honest, I believe I have the skills. Absolutely. And I show the results, but it's just growing and continuing to get my name out there. Much love, Max. Making a trade set of video is a great idea. I want to switch from futures. Yeah, I think I'm going to film that tomorrow, and then I'm going to make a channel. So I want to plan on upgrading the Discord, especially for newer people, right? This Discord has kind of been for more people that have kind of been in the trading space already. And this is a lot more valuable for people who have just needed that extra oomph to really, slap them in the right direction. So I want to start making the Discord a little bit noob friendly, right? Beginner friendly as well. Introduction to trading, right? Understanding, setting up the broker, kind of all that stuff. So everybody is going to be able to get quality from this. Do you have a lifetime plan with Tradeovate? I don't think so. I think I just pay every month. Much love, Matt. I know why you're not as popular. It's sad. You post 5,000 to win and you stay pretty composed. Perfect trader, but social media wants it. Yeah, I know. That's what it is. That's 100% what it is. And I've talked to Danny about this. You guys know Danny from Traders Evolve. How, whatever your opinion on him is, I've grown to be a good friend of his, whatever you think about his trading. But again, that was his biggest advice for me is, if I want to grow, I got to market it in that sense, and that's not what trading is. That's not what trading is. Again, my plan, I'm going to be one of the best fucking traders ever, period. That's where I'm going to be. And posting that kind of content is just not what I do, kind of thing. Like I don't want to put on, a persona, right? Be like, yo, let's go, guys. Low, pump the market, pump it. Yo, go. Like dumb shit like that, bro. That's not how you fucking trade. People in the lives, I enter, I exit. That's it. I'm calm. I'm cool. Because I'm focusing on being a fucking master, not a fucking puppet. And when the day comes where all of these good habits I've been building for years, and the day comes where I'm upping my size, and I'm going to up my size, where I have 100K days, if not more, I'm going to be able to withstand that because I know how, and I've gained experience from how, not by putting on some sort of marketing phase. So again, it is sad, but it's true. Have a good night, Blair. Much love, brother. I do agree, Matt. I do kind of like keeping the Discord small and being more intimate with you guys and teaching. Can you start posting live training videos like the record? Yeah, I will start. I want to edit them though, because a lot of the times, again, I start my recording earlier, like before the Zoom even starts, and I'm just kind of jamming the music and just like shit like that. So I'll start touching them up a little bit and start posting some possible full recordings. That's legit the best part of this community. When I send a message and actually reply prices, I try my best. How often do you size up? Because I've only been here enough to see you size up your size once. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but so last year I used to trade a lot more size than I do now. This year, the first 6 months of this year has been primarily focused on mastering my craft. Again, I haven't been really focused on making a lot of money. Now I've been making a decent amount of money for sure. But I'm going to really plan on upping my size. Again, I know what it takes to be a good trader. and I'm not in no rush to get there. So I'm okay taking that 6-month period, absolutely grinding, dialing in, mastering my craft, building confidence with my strategy like no other, and then having the confidence to then up my size, right? So probably by the end of this year, I'll double, if not triple my size. If not more. All right, guys. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. Hopefully these charting sessions, you get a lot out of it. I'm very proud of everybody in this Discord. I'm excited to see everybody grow. I'm very happy with this community and what we've been building here. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Much love to every single one of you. Get some rest. I'll see you all tomorrow morning for live trading. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Peace out.